What's up, guys? nethervvoid here with more Elite Dangerous, episode 7 of Space Truckers, and we're in our hauler, which is the second episode we've had it at Lewin. We're kind of going to the same two places every time, just because it doesn't seem like there's more money to be made yet elsewhere. Pretty soon I'll probably rerun Slopies with all, so I can see if there are any other places I could be going to make more cash. So I've already bought 13 units of agri-medicines, and almost, what were they, at 624 each, but selling them probably about 1,000 each. We're going to go to Chango, like we always do. So, I did see Infused DJ. I saw your note about talking about my computer specs in the next video. I don't know if it's really worthwhile to talk about, because my computer is actually pretty old now, but I will talk about those. But one thing I really wanted to talk about now was something that I'm actually going through right now. A little bit personal. It's going to be a little bit personal. Whoa, that's a giant ship. Let's get out of this guy's way, because we don't want to crash. And it's an NPC, so he'll probably just wreck right into us. What are you doing, bro? Alright, let's try to do this. There we go. So, a little bit... I think I can make it through here. Yeah, let's do this. Engines are good. And boost. So, a little bit personal, a little bit serious. Should make for good commentary, in my opinion. I don't know. I don't know how many people have this issue that I have, but it's rather a pain. And I still need to adjust that sensitivity. It's just not sensitive enough. I'm going to do that real quick. It's weird because it feels like I have the same sensitivity. I mean, that looks like where it was before, so I don't know. Is it? I think I just want pitch sensitivity to be more and roll sensitivity to be less. But anyway, over time, I'm 39 years old. A lot of people don't know how old I am. I'm 39. I'm gonna be 40 in about 6 months. But throughout my life, I've not really considered myself to have really any ailments or, I don't know, conditions or whatever, because I just never felt like the things I experienced never felt like it was that strong of an influence on my life. But what I'm realizing over time is these things that I don't, feel like are very, much of a big deal, I guess, or affecting me that much, are actually affecting me just as much as they are in the textbooks, I guess, as much as they would be in textbooks case for those, the textbook case for whatever condition that is, and it just doesn't feel like that big of an influence to me, but it actually is. It's more than I think it is. Or it's not more than I think it is. I think it's just let's line up this Chango here real quick, and then I'll start talking again. I gotta make sure this is right. I think what it is it doesn't feel like as much of an influence to me as other people explain it as. So, like, you talk to somebody that has, I don't know, Asperger's, let's say, and you think, wow, that must be, that must really affect you. It must be really horrible because of the way they talk about it. And in reality, it's not as it doesn't have as much effect as you'd think. And I need to calm this thing down way. There we go. I think Asperger's is probably a bad example, because Asperger's, usually when people have Asperger's, it's very noticeable, and it obviously affects them in their everyday lives, especially like autism. I mean, those kind of things, the real, I call them the harder diseases, I guess, the stuff that's been around for a while, that's been accepted for a while as an actual mental illness. Those things do affect those people's lives to a huge degree. But now let's talk about stuff like anxiety disorders, okay? Stuff that affects you sometimes, or maybe just affects you a little bit, or making friendship. It might make it hard to make friends. Smaller details like that. Those are actually, in my opinion, feels like it's harder to feel the effects of them, and so I don't feel like I had any of those things, right? I knew I had a little bit of, like, social disorders. It's hard to make friends, things like that. But one of the ones I'm realizing I actually do, I think, have, other than narcolepsy, actually, which is kind of surprising to me, I think I have mild narcolepsy. I looked up some of the symptoms on Wiki, and one of them was like falling asleep on the freeway. I constantly do that. I fight sleep on the freeway all the time. Especially, well, it's really primarily if when on my morning commute and driving the parts of the freeway that I drive all the time, and that's really because, to me, the reasoning is because, well, not just because of narcolepsy, which is actually a sleep disorder, which means you're not getting enough REM sleep when you actually do sleep. But I think it's because my brain is bored. Like, there's not enough activity, and I fall asleep. And because that happens, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. Like, let's say I'm sitting and waiting for something. Like, I'm sitting down, I'm in a line for whatever it is, right? I will start to get tired, and I will start to fall asleep if I don't have something else to keep my mind busy. Like, if I don't have my smartphone, I'm going to get tired, I will probably fall asleep. Another one is, if I'm the passenger in the car and we're not talking about anything, I'll immediately pass out. Almost immediately. Because my brain has no activity. And I think my brain says, well, I might as well shut down since I'm not doing anything. So that same thing happens to me during my commute. The commute is the same every day. There's no differences at all. It's like I've done it a billion zillion times. And so it makes me feel like my commute, since it's boring because I do it so much, that's what's causing me to have issues with falling asleep on the freeway. But now that I'm reading the wiki, I'm thinking maybe it is, narcolepsy. Maybe that's it. And I just don't realize it because I feel like, wow, if you have narcolepsy, you must, If any of you guys have ever seen Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo, that's where he's not very good looking, so he dates a lot of, like, girls that can't get other dates or even other men of the street. There's no better way to say that, I guess. So he ends up dating, like, tons of these girls who nobody will date. One girl's, like, 9 feet tall with giant feet, like size 20 feet or some ridiculous size foot, right? And he dates her, and she's really grateful to him because he gives her a foot massage. She's never had one before or whatever because her feet are so gigantic, no man wants to touch them. Okay, cool. One of the girls he dates is narcoleptic, right? She has narcolepsy, and she's like eating and stuff, and right in the middle of conversation, right in the middle of food, she just falls asleep. Well, if you look at the symptoms for narcolepsy, I don't think that's typical narcolepsy. I think that would be like a very, very extreme case of it. So, but when you see stuff like that, and they say, "Oh, this is narcoleptic," right? They're showing, and you got to take it with a grain of salt. It's a comedy, but you got to think to yourself, well, that's very extreme. I don't have anything like that. I don't have any symptoms like that. Therefore, I'm not narcoleptic. Okay, but then you get curious about it, and you read up on it, and you realize when you read, Wikipedia and WebMD and all these other things, holy crap, I actually have a lot of those symptoms. Maybe I'm at least mildly narcoleptic. And you're like, wow, that changes my mind on a lot of things because it felt rather mild compared to what I've known about it just from movies and stuff. And so it makes me feel like I don't have it, because I don't fall asleep during a meal. If we're having a pleasant conversation, I'm totally awake. I never have any problems falling asleep during the middle of a conversation. That never happens to me. But some of the other ones are reading a book and you fall asleep. That happens to me quite a lot. If I read a book at night, I will probably fall asleep pretty much right away. It just happens. I don't know what it is. It just happens to me. And why is this not docking? Dock? Am I going too fast? Car landing gear's down. Maybe I'm moving too fast over the middle of it here. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so what I would say, because I never wanted to admit that I had any kind of disorders. Who wants to admit that? Especially guys. We're supposed to be strong. Nothing's wrong with us. We're strong men. We're not going to complain about it. We're just going to get on with our lives. No, we don't have any problems. What is that? Plus, then you have to admit that you have a fault. And, I don't want to do that because I'm a perfectionist. Which leads into the actual conversation of what I wanted to talk about. The thing that I actually wanted to talk about. Being OCD. I haven't actually looked this part of it up. But the typical thing you think about OCD, and it's, again, the thing they show in movies, are guys that have to, like, every time they lock their door at night, they have to lock it and unlock it 7 times or something. They have some kind of number behind how many times they lock and unlock their door before they're okay with saying, okay, the door's locked, right? Like, you see this in What's that movie? There's a movie with Jack Nicholson in it. I can't remember what it is, but the guy is severely OCD. And I can't remember what that movie is. Hold on, you're probably going to hear the mic because I need to turn the microphone off for a second here. And I can't remember what it's called, but there's a good movie about that. A guy who's severely OCD. Nice haul, look at that. 5,000 credit gain right there. So what am I taking back? Let's look. Computer components? Okay, I can do that. Let's get some computer components here. Where did I find those again? I think maybe they're up here, actually. Consumer technology? No, that's not it. Computer components. There we go. I should be able to buy 16 of them now. I got tons of cash. Yeah, there we go. Now we actually have a full vessel. That's awesome. And we're fine, lady. So, and I haven't looked up OCD on Wiki or on WebMD or any of those things. Oops. No, we want this. So I don't know all the symptoms and all that. I probably should do that. I'd probably find out that I have a lot of the symptoms they're talking about. But again, when you watch movies, it seems like, oh, I don't have that. I don't need to lock and relock the door 8 times or brush my teeth 3 times or what's the other one? You can't touch another person's hand because you're so worried about diseases and things like that. Or like the Bill Murray thing. He was in that comedy where he follows his therapist to their vacation lake home or something like that. What about Bob? The guy he's too worried. He can't go outside. He has to touch all doorknobs with with a tissue and stuff because he's just so worried about getting a disease, germaphobe or whatever. Stuff like that. It's like, and he has a couple OCD things, like he can't step on cracks, and so the guy has severe OCD issues. That's not everyday issues, right? What am I doing here? I don't need to do that. But like, one of my things is, and it might just be even a social anxiety. So I'm gonna get again a little bit personal on this one. Like, I need to be prepared for things. Let's say we plan this event, me and somebody, whoever, and I took my kids and stuff. We go to this thing. It takes 2 hours to do. It's a nice family thing. Everybody's having a great time. I'm having a great time. We're coming home, right? And we're gonna drive by this store that my ex wants to go to. Let's say, okay, when she was my wife, she'd say, hey, I really need to stop over here and get something. Now that we're gonna be going by it, I know I need to go get it. Let's just stop and get it. Well, if it's not planned, I have a hard time doing it. I immediately become very anxious, and I start to worry, and I can't do it a lot of the times. I don't know why that is. I'm pretty sure it's an OCD thing, right? Let's do this. Here we go. So things that are not planned are very hard for me to do. Oh, there we go. Okay, we're already in the orbital plane here. That's good. So like today, we thought, okay, we're gonna do some bank stuff, and then we're gonna. Oh, it's trying to overshoot me now, because I'm going away from the star, so I'm picking up speed because I'm leaving the gravity well of the star. Or at least the gravity is becoming less and less of an influence on my vessel. So we're like, hey, we're gonna do some stuff at the bank, and then we're gonna go to Costco. Okay, so we decided to go to Costco. So we get to Costco, and I tried to make a list for Costco, but I don't know what meals I want to serve this week. That's something I like to do, is prepare ahead of time what meals I want to serve. That way I know what to buy from the store, right? And then that way, while I'm at the store, I can put in the price for everything I'm buying, and I know before I get to the register how much I'm spending because I have a budget. So I don't want to go over the budget. But at Costco, especially since it kind of messes with me, because like when I go to Safeway or something, a regular grocery store, if I want to make like spaghetti, I know exactly how many, things of ground beef I need to buy, how much spaghetti I need to buy, all those things. And I can do, one, not serving or helping, but I can basically cook that spaghetti once and use up everything I bought to make the spaghetti. Okay? So, no problem. But when you go to Costco, which is like a huge warehouse type retailer, you go in to buy like spaghetti sauce, and you just get like a pint. You get like a gallon Okay, so that spaghetti sauce is going to last you through multiple meals, right? Multiple times making spaghetti. So not only is it hard for me to plan because I have not planned out my meals for the week, which normally I could just pull up some plans on the fly, probably, like spaghetti's really easy for me. I can't buy from. I get more anxiety about buying things from Costco because that's a lot of meals, and I don't have all those meals planned. I don't know how long it's going to last. I haven't. How many meals can this do? Is this going to be over the budget? Is it going to be worth my money? It's just tons of calculations trying to go through my head, and I can't do it all. I start to get overwhelmed. Now, that's going to be a lot worse if there's a lot of people in the store, which it's Friday afternoon. There's tons of people there. And navigating that space of, like, basically I'm always calculating, am I going to run into this person? Am I giving them enough space? Are they going to run into me? Are they paying attention at all? Any of those, is our cart going to hit? Which actually happens a lot. People don't pay attention. They don't care, I guess. And so we end up bumping into each other a lot. And I can't stand that. Because then I feel like, oh crap, I just bumped into them and I shouldn't be bumping into them, It's some kind of social thing. So that OCD issue just like sent me into, not a real meltdown, but I shut down. What happens is, I used to think anxiety attacks, and I again see it in the movies or hear people have anxiety attacks, and they'd start freaking out. I mean, they're physically freaking out. Their hands are shaking. They're starting to scream or whatever. They're having an anxiety attack, right? But I think possibly anyway, and I need to look this up because again, I don't really know what I'm talking about, and I really like narcolepsy. Until I looked it up and saw the symptoms, I didn't think I had it. I thought, well, I don't have that because I would know because my symptoms would be horrible, wouldn't they? Not necessarily. It could be a lot lighter than you think. So for me, I kind of shut down. I stopped making decisions. And so I'm coming up on aisles where I think I can remember that I originally wanted to buy these items off this aisle, but now I'm so overwhelmed with decision making and the lack of information I feel like I require to make those decisions that I just stop. And I want to leave the store. I just want to leave because I don't know if maybe that ties back into feeling like I'm going to fail this thing I'm trying to do or what, but I feel like I can't make the right decisions and I'm going to make a wrong decision and I'm going to have to live with that because I just bought stuff from the store. I'm not going to, you can't take back pork chops or whatever. And I just feel like I'm not prepared to make the decisions I need to make to buy like 4 pounds of pork chops or some crap like that. It's really disturbing, and that actually hasn't happened to me in a long time because lately I've been very, very organized. With what I want to do. I have a to-do list in Google Docs, and I go through that list every day and check mark the stuff I want to get done that day. So I'm usually very organized, and this thing has not happened to me very much lately. But today, it came back like a vengeance, and I was just having a really hard time. And so I got almost nothing. I got nothing at Costco, but because so that frustrated. Whoa! Whoa! Don't crash, buddy. Don't crash. That's fine, you can scam me. Just don't shoot me and don't wreck my ship here. This thing's expensive and we haven't made back all our money yet. We almost have though. We're making really good amount of money here. So that like kind of stressed out my ex too, and so we just left. She can't handle when I get that way, which that's fine, whatever. But yeah, so I was a little bit concerned because that has not happened to me for a long time. In fact, that used to happen a lot, I think, when my ex and I were together, and I didn't realize it was happening so much. But it hasn't happened to me in probably 2 or 3 months now. It used to, I think, happen every couple of weeks, or maybe once a week. And that's why now it's like coming to my attention that, wait a minute, something's weird here. This should not be happening. I don't usually have this kind of an issue, so what's going on here? Dude, land. Jeez. I know your landing gear aren't on the pad, but just do it anyway, okay? So that's kind of interesting to me. I really want. And the cool thing though is all that stuff is very interesting to me. I love complicated problems. I love to solve things and fix things. So that kind of lends itself to looking up, is this an issue? How do I deal with it? Let's figure out how to deal with this kind of a problem. And that's how I worked through other things like that in the past. Other, I would say, mental issues, kind of. Not mental issues. See, people have a stigma about when you say a mental issue. A mental issue already has a really negative connotation. A lot of my stuff is social, and some of it is, well, it's almost all social. It has to do with interactions with other people, not really like I'm going to go off and, do something drastic or anything. But I've been able to work through that stuff in the past just by kind of logically thinking through it, reading a couple books on certain things, or looking at wikis and things like that. That's not what we want. So I think I have a pretty good track record doing that. So I'll be doing that probably with that issue, which I'm pretty sure is OCD. So 16. Hopefully you don't have to click that 100 times when you have 100 cargo. That would really suck. So let's watch our balance now. 18,000. Well, I guess it went up 8,000. No, 9,000, right? So I'm going to pause it real quick. I will be back. Well, you won't even know the difference, but I'll be back in a second. Hold on. Okay, we're back. Well, I'm back anyway, and for you it was no big deal. So we're going to keep buying the same thing. I just reran this thing with the 18,000 credits in it, and it says keep doing what you're doing. So this is kind of boring, but it is what it is. I know Max makes a bunch of jumps to different places. I'm going to have to ask him why he does that, because it seems like, why wouldn't you just jump back and forth? That way every time you make a jump, you can sell something. Maybe he does it because it's more fun, which I'm sure it is. Jumping back and forth between stations is really, really boring. So it will be nice when they add in stuff like mining and everything, because then I can go do different things. That's one thing I did in Eve a lot, which I think this game has already made way better than Eve, just because it's more interactive and I can actually fly my ship instead of just point and click. I don't like point and click flying. It's very boring. But it'll be nice when I can, like, I'm getting tired of training, I can go do some mining or something like that, you know what I mean? That will be cool. Let's see, Ibudis, lock, there it is. So, what happens is, I get those anxiety attacks, right? And I can't function that well. I just want to get to the car and get the heck out of there, and it's a really weird feeling. I can't really explain it, other than I just want to get out of there. So usually it'll dissipate, that kind of feeling will dissipate as I drive home or I drive wherever I'm going. It takes about 20 or 30 minutes usually. Today it didn't. It actually lasted probably for an hour after I got home. So it lasted for about 2 hours. Throttle up. Oh, okay, no problems. And when it gets like that, and I think it's a combination. It's not just the stuff where I wasn't prepared when I went to Costco. I have lots of stuff to do this weekend. Like record a bunch of videos. My friend's coming over in about an hour, so that tonight is shot pretty much for doing anything else. Tomorrow I'm going to my friend's birthday party from about, well, I'm going to be dropping my sons off with my mom at 12 something, so pretty much right in the middle of the morning. And then that's going to pretty much eat that evening because I'm going over to their place, and there's drinking and everybody's in general debauchery, right? So that's going to eat that whole evening up. No recording getting done, no other planning or anything else getting done. And then Sunday, I wanted to go hiking with my sons, but I won't be able to because, the late night before, so now I'm going to think of something else. And then Sunday night, I'm going over to my ex's to watch shows or something like that. So again, my weekend is booked with stuff that is not getting anything on my list of things to do done. It's not that I don't like doing those things. I want to go to that birthday party. I want my friend to come over. I want to do all that stuff. It's just that, don't you dare overshoot. It's just that I have a lot of stuff on my list and I need to get it done, like grocery shopping. I need to sit around and plan meals. I figure my meal planning along with then the grocery list planning is going to take at least an hour for me, especially if I'm going to Costco, because I want to know I'm buying, I don't want to just buy something and then have to throw half of it away because I didn't use it. And I hate doing that, and I'm really picky with my money. I'm really kind of a penny pincher a little bit because I don't want to burn cash and throw it away. I get really upset about that. So I've just got a lot of stuff to do. I got to record all these videos. I have to redo my backyard. It needs to be repacked. I need to get a tarp because it was raining in my backyard. Everything is not really covered. It's actually just a back patio because I'm going to have an apartment, right? So just I have tons of stuff to do, and I feel like I'm not getting it done, especially when I'm out doing parties and people are hanging out and I'm doing all the social stuff. It almost makes me not want to do the social stuff. In fact, I've canceled social things before just because I felt like I couldn't go because I had all this stuff to do. And then I ended up not doing any of it because I was so overwhelmed with it. So anyway, that's really all I wanted to talk about. Just I thought it was a strange thing, and let me know if you guys have experienced anything like that, or maybe what your issues you go through are. But you know, don't ignore those signs, and don't ignore when you think something's different. It's okay to be different, there's no doubt about that, but the thing is, you shouldn't ignore it or say, oh, this is no big deal. You know, go check. Go read a wiki, go check WebMD, you know, see if it is a big deal or not. You know, you're not a doctor, I'm not a doctor. How do we know if it's a big deal or not? Doctors know that. Websites can help you with at least symptoms. So that's what I would suggest you do. That's what I do, and that's what I'll be continuing to do, because that's how you have the best quality of life possible. You find any issues you're having and then solve them, you know? There's really no better advice than that. And don't just let it sit there. Don't ignore problems. They just get worse. Or you miss a lot of opportunities because you didn't fix that problem. Case in point. Okay, perfect example. I have kind of a social disorder, right? I have a hard time dealing with people. So, of course, that's, you know, 10 times as bad when you're trying to approach a woman or a girl and then say, hey, do you like me? Hey, you want to go on a date? You know, you want to go do something? That becomes very difficult, especially for people with social issues, right? I'm an introvert. I'm not an extrovert. Not a natural one anyway. So what sucks is, in high school, I heard from somebody that lots of girls liked me in high school, wanted me to ask them out, couldn't, you know, they thought I was hot, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, nobody told me this. And they're like, well, that's because they're girls. They wait for you to approach. So that whole social thing, which I've been working on a little bit, and I actually want to do a lot more work on it. Basically, I missed out on lots of opportunity to date girls that I might have thought were also attractive, which I did. I thought a lot of them were. And I missed out on all that opportunity and all those experiences because I didn't, I was almost afraid to recognize I had a problem in a sense. A lot of people do that. The reason people deny that they even have a problem is they don't even want to attempt to fix the problem. They think it's too big. It's just, I don't even want to deal with it because it's such a massive undertaking. I'm just not prepared for it, or I don't have enough energy, or any of those other reasons, which are not invalid reasons by any means. But it just means that you're kind of wasting part of your life. And that's why I always say, if you're not happy with something, get rid of it, because, and someone's at the door, can you please get that? Just ask my son to get the door. Because you only live once. You get one lifetime, right? So take every opportunity you can, because you can't ever go back. So, yeah, I know. I kind of know that, but it's my son's whispering in my ear that my friend's here. And now she's looking at me all funny because I'm recording a YouTube video, which is a very nerdy thing to do. But she's also a nerd, so that's fine. She's going to be all, what? No, I'm not. But she knows she is. Okay, so let's dock here, and then we're going to end this video. We're pretty much at the time. So we're almost there. Let's see. Let's yaw a little bit. There we go. Straighten up. Coming into the dock. So yeah, you only live once. Sitting in a horrible situation is pointless because you're just wasting your time. Why don't you just give that time to somebody else who will use it more effectively? Who will actually go out and have fun. What is going on with my ship? Speed up. I think that's part of the new patch. 19, there it is. So, oh, gotta yaw again. I think that's too much yaw. Yeah, there we go. So, very profitable runs here. Good times, talking about different social disorders, really is what that is. Because I don't consider those mental disorders. They're just really social disorders. And look at that, right over the pad, like a G. So now everybody's whispering because they know I'm recording. This is funny. Hold on. Hold on. Come on. I'm trying to end this video. And we're landed. Let's get into the dock here. So again, if you're not sure, you know, check the wiki, check check WebMD. Just look at the symptoms. You'll be able to tell. And if you have, let's say there are 10 symptoms, most of the time for those kind of disorders, you're not going to have every symptom. And in fact, I was looking at ADHD, and there's like 20 or 25 different symptoms people can have. And they said if you have 3 of the 25 symptoms or something, you're borderline ADHD. 3, that's all you have to have. If you have 5, you have a major case of ADHD. And I was like, wow, 5 out of 20 or something? That seems really ridiculous. I would have never thought that anybody would have ADHD if they have 5. They said most people have 1 or 2. That's normal. So if you have 1 or 2 of the symptoms, that's normal. But I didn't know that until I read about it. So go out there and check that out. If you think you might have something, go check. It's not hypochondria. It's just making sure, or going to check and being informed, So anyway, that's pretty good, man. Went from 9K to 25K. Pretty good runs. Nice conversation here. And we'll get to my system spec pretty soon. My system is pretty old, and so there's not a lot to talk about, really. But anyway, as always, stay frosty, and I'll talk to you guys next time.